Hi guys, welcome to another Chesspats UK video. Today I'm going to show you two games and I'm not going to spend too long because later on this afternoon I've got an online tournament to play in. It's a Twitter tournament being organised by a guy called SayChess. I'll go on to that in a video later because I'm going to do a live stream. But this is two games from the St Albans Challengers section, which is currently going on right now. I only played the first and second round and then withdrew. That was always the plan, nothing wrong with me or anything like that. I wanted to get two games in, ready for the 4NCL for next weekend, where I've been promoted to board one for the Celtic Tigers second team, which I'm very proud of and I'm looking forward to. Good work on the board two, it seems. 3.5 out of 4 gets you up into board one. Yes! Come on, you board one people, I'm after you. But that's next weekend, and I'll definitely be doing videos on those, depending on... no, it doesn't matter. I'll put them on anyway, even if I get spanked, I'll still do it. You see plenty of my losses, it's not like I'm worried about it. But anyway, so the idea was to play two games, and the Challenger section, as I said, was under 181, and at 162 ECF, I was 5th or 6th lowest rated, which means it's just totally packed full of 170s and 180s. And for the first round, I got a 180, the second seed, Peter Tart, who I played 2 years ago. And the last time I played in St Albans, I got 0.5 out of 5, which is atrocious. Didn't really want to go back, but I had an opportunity. I had a free day, and I thought I'd use it to play some chess. And at least today, which is Sunday, to get a haircut and buy a new coat, because I managed to fall up the stairs at the station and rip my coat, which is awesome. I love spending money on stuff that I shouldn't need to buy. Anyway, I'll get into the game quickly because I've only got half an hour until the match starts, so I won't dawdle too much because not the most interesting games. There's parts, and that's the reason why I want to show it. It sort of follows on from my last video. It was my last one, not my last one, but the one before the 4NCL when I played against Petrov. I'm usually a Sicilian player. I dabble with the Caro-Kann, it seems. I've managed to get one win, so I'm 100% in the opening. You should really just play the Caro-Kann. But today, I actually wanted to play very solidly against this guy. As I say, I played him before, and he ran me over in the closed Sicilian. And though, 2 years have passed and I've learned a lot since then, I don't want to give him another game like that. He seems to be that type of player, and I think you'll pick that up in this. He just plays some good attacking chess. And that's pretty much the main reason why I want to show it, because it's just another idea against the Petrov, and I'm a bit of a Petrov / Scandinavian opening hater, so, any extra ideas to use against it is great. So let me get into the game quickly. I'm going to use a score sheet, so I'll be a little bit slow, because I tried to do this video already once and it fell apart on me, so I'm going to try again. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, Petrov. Now he tries an idea that's from a GM. I think there's probably someone else who's played it, but I know Brozovic definitely played this. He's a brilliant imaginative attacking player, and it's just another way to play against the Petrov. And to be fair, considering the easy-ish attack he got, I appreciate it that he's giving me these ideas. You've got two choices here. You can either take this pawn or this pawn. You don't want to get negative and start playing d6 here, because you're basically playing into white's hands, and the third up, it puts it on the board. For instance, you can just take straight away. You're basically losing that pawn, and the queen's coming off, so you can't be cagey here. You've got to decide which pawn you're going to take, and both are fine. They just lead to slightly different positions. I'll take the e pawn, because for me, I've played something similar-ish in the Scotch, where you end up taking this pawn. So this is why playing a few different openings will help you out, because you'll get ideas from other openings, so you'll never feel completely on your own. But eventually I do. Don't get me wrong. I will get punished for not knowing everything there is to know about a certain opening. But generally just little inaccuracies. You tend to not blunder pieces. But let me get on to the game. So he plays. This is mainline. I only know that now because of looking at this at a computer on my way home. D5 is all natural. You've got to defend the knight's attacked, and then he takes the pawn and gives himself a very good knight. It's attacking this square. Queen can come in to one of these two squares. It's a lovely bishop when I castle kingside, which is most likely. And I can't keep the knight there. I mean, instantly you can't play this because I've got a naughty little queen check. But there's stuff that white has here, and it's a nice, easy-ish position. And black has to be careful, really careful. And I go slightly wrong straight away. Best move is bishop d6. trying to trade off this knight. I played bishop e7 because I was a bit worried about, and you see a lot of ghosts in chess. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, you guys too. You see a lot of problems. I know that knight's never going to be able to stay there forever. And if it ever does come back to f6, then I want it to not be pinned by that bishop. And that was the idea why I played bishop e7, but it's slightly inaccurate. It only works if your opponent plays into your hands. So we both castle, nothing spectacular. Queen e2, he's just attacking the knight. He wants to take the knight, win a pawn. Fair enough. I was going to play f5 here. That's like old Jack. Old Jack would have done that without blinking. But funny enough, after he kicks it and the knight comes back, this pawn would actually be pretty weak because the knight's blocking the rook's defence. It's only the bishop defending, and it'd be easy enough for him to start ganging up on that pawn. So that's why I didn't do that. The best move here, I'll show you that quickly, is definitely c5. Considered very briefly in the game, probably not long enough as it were. The point being that if he ever takes here, then you've got a counter-attack in the centre with the queen and the pawn. And you get the bishop pair. So it's probably good for black. He doesn't, of course, he can just play c6 and the game goes on. But something for me to consider next time I play the Petrov. I will play it again. I want white to bust it some more so I can use the white side ideas. It's not a bad idea, guys. I mean, do it online, and maybe doing that over the board in challenges is probably not the best time to experiment. But you will learn a lot more this way because you have longer to think about it. Both of us used our whole clock here. We had an hour and a half of 36 moves, and if we reached that, then it would have been 15 minutes extra. I'm not saying whether we make it or not. But yeah, spoiler, eh? So we went for the pawn. So as I said, I played bishop e7 so I could drop the knight back, start defending h7. You know, and my idea was, you know, once I put another knight here, I'm probably okay. Maybe I'd play h6 at some point, maybe g6, who knows. But I didn't feel like I was going to get mated. So he plays bishop g5, which is a little bit annoying because he is actually attacking this bishop in a few lines. If I just casually do something silly and this knight ever moves, then I've got to watch out for the e7 bishop. So I play an okay move. I could have gone this way too, and if I'd gone this way, I suspect he would have taken it. And this would have been okay. I know it would have been okay because, again, old Jack doesn't appreciate double pawns like this. He thinks that they're weak, but they're actually okay because they can move. And you've got an open file for your rook, and they're dynamic because they can move and become undoubled. Dynamic pawns are good, static pawns are bad. Say there's a pawn here and a pawn here, clamping on the square, then they would be bad pawns. But the point is, in this particular position, they're okay because they can just double up and attack the centre twice. It's actually quite useful. If you want to undermine centres, you know, any French player will tell you that. But also, I thought, well, I don't need to do that. It's something for him to get his teeth into later, maybe in an endgame, etc. And I just wanted to keep the position level and just compact and just see how he's going to outplay me, if he's going to outplay me. So he continues, just natural moves, all aiming at e7, fair enough. So I'm already a little bit concerned about knight takes here. This bishop will be exposed quite badly then. I'm probably okay, but I just don't want the risk. I don't. The only downside of moving this bishop is that I re-establish this pin that I was talking about, but it's probably the best move. Although the computer is shouting at me here, it's actually saying I can take this pawn. That's interesting. Sorry, the knight. It's still an edge for white, so d takes. Yeah, that seems natural. This is what I was worrying about in the game. Where does the knight go? Knight d7. Maybe this is okay. I guess my concern in this position after takes he is that maybe I'm just going to get pawn stormed on the king side. A little bit easy attack for white, really, with no real risk. I might have a sneaky little check here at some point, but he can just move his king. Yeah, and I didn't like this. And I didn't need to do it either. And in fact, probably more worried about queen takes than pawn takes. Pawn takes. Oh, it's changed its mind. Now it says queen takes is better. This is the big one I was really worried about because there's pressure here and here, and it starts becoming a little bit hairy. You know, you do stupid moves like this, and you're suddenly dead, and that's it. You know, game over. Thanks very much for coming. What move's this? It's move 11, and you're already busted in the Petrov. You know, so I didn't want to allow any of that, so I don't care if its best move is to take that knight. It's not for me. I thought, you know what? Let's just move out the way and attack the knight as well. You know, I can't take it because this pin. Now I made the pin real. I can't take this knight because when pawn takes, the knight's going to be in trouble. I'll have to play something like h6 and g5, and you don't want to do that in this kind of position. You're just going to get hammered. So my opponent does the right thing. He gets his last piece out. Whoops, not the pawn. Piece. Sick. And I start making an escape square for my queen. 1, to break the pin, and 2, maybe I've got some sort of attack coming down on h2. So he jumps in. He probably jumps in a bit prematurely here. I think he probably could have considered something like just queen here. I mean, he does it in a minute anyway. Maybe even coming back to here. This is a fairly good attacking idea. Really build up the pressure on that knight. And I'll probably have to play h6 or something here. But this is looking really complicated and not particularly good for black, to be quite frank. Which may be why c6 isn't particularly good. I mean, it's got an idea behind it. You should always play with ideas. And the idea was to break the pin and to give me an attack. So if white would punish me, this is actually quite tasty. I'm going to put that one in the bank. I've seen it before in other games. But it's good to have these things. This is the problem with pinned pieces. They do get attacked a lot. No, he didn't play that. c6 knight. He actually took here. Interesting. That's right. That's it. And I thought, well, I must be doing all right here. And then I realised after I take back, I can't take with a queen because he'd just take on f6 the whole time. I was actually a little bit concerned about just dropping in another knight, but he comes up with another little pressure move, which again is why I'm liking this way of playing as white against Petrov. Pretty much forcing me to drop my bishop back. Because I have to stop him taking here. You know, I don't want him to double up the pawns. It's just an easy long-term advantage for him. And here he plays a quiet move, just to stop. In any situation, I might have bishop here. I mean, I can't do it anyway because I think bishop takes probably works. Does it yet? Maybe. But he just stops it anyway. There's no go there. If you play h3, then that idea is gone. He's playing against my light square bishop. But I thought, well, I've got to improve the light square bishop anyway. I want to give my knight a chance to come back and swap off this dark square bishop. And now this bishop is actually quite a nice blocker. All I've got to be aware of is that if he ever takes here, and the queen takes, and this is the position, I've got to be a little bit aware of bishop f5 because of the pin. And it becomes a little bit awkward. So that's the main worry I've got in this position. He carries on just slightly improving his position. It's, pawn solid. The bishop can now drop back. It's just another idea. Bishop can drop back. Queen can come over. Like, yeah, these are all good stuff. No, white's just in a good position here. Computer says 0.75 up, so he's not doing anything spectacular. And I'm having to find, it felt like at the time, only moves. So I move my queen up. I just want to basically try to control this square. I can see this little maneuver coming either way. And f5 becomes really weak. So I'm looking for f5 in advance. And in fact, maybe it encouraged him. I don't know. But he went for this anyway, which is correct. Now here, I play what I thought was a really clever move. And I'll explain what it does. I really, really want to get rid of this dark square bishop. And I came up with king h8 to do this. Just so I've finally got a square that I can bring my knight back to. And then maybe even take with a knight, potentially. And still defend this f5 square, which is what I'm really trying to defend. But it's a little bit slow. And did he play it? Yeah. And he just gets on with coming at me. I've got to read my own handwriting. It's pretty difficult. I think he plays the knight here. Looks like it. Knight. Yeah, it's got to be knight e3 because he's going for this g5 square. So I bring my knight back as previously planned. I just told you why I've done this. He takes. I take back the knight again. I don't really want to take with the queen because the knight is coming in, and again the rook and the pin is all pretty nasty. So let's defend this square for now. And he does the next plan. This is what I mean. His moves are very simplistic but good. Just keep doubling up. All his pieces are really nice. They're all aiming at difficult points in my position. So I'm like, well, I've got to at least face off a little bit. This is a good rook. I mean, it is defended enough times here that I don't have to worry about the double up just yet. But he carries on. Doesn't really drop below almost +1. And my first real big blunder, I've got to say, when I played this move, I was so happy he didn't play the follow-up because I saw it as soon as I've done this move. I mean, how many times do you guys do that? You make the move and go, oh no, what about that one? So this was, you know, I've defended fairly well here. My position's fairly compact. You know, okay, yeah, he's got some aggression. The computer's offering me some moves I don't want to play, such as knight here, which gives him the f5 square. And also, what else it's trying to... Queen d8, don't even understand that one. Maybe to, I don't know, just giving up f5. It's very difficult to do. So I played this. And the reason being, I saw that at some point, if I can play h6, g6 and my king to g7, I've got a really nice defensive setup, you know, against even pawn pushes or anything, because if the pawns come down the board, you just move the other one. But I've completely underestimated this move. And then I was like, oh, it's okay, it doesn't matter, because maybe I could play something crazy like f5. And if we got a gung-ho match, but he's just better here. He just moves his king out the way, another rook comes over to the g file. I'm just getting spanked. So not too clever at all. But I don't know why. I kind of didn't think he would play it, because if you noticed all his moves so far, and this is not a good way to play chess. He's a piece player. He's put all his pieces in the best squares they can be, and there's no really. He's keeping his king safe. He doesn't really want to push any of his pawns. He hasn't done. This was a defensive move. This one. So I've got to say I was massively relieved when he played what he played, which was it's still a good move. He uncovers the rooks, and the knight's doing the same job on g3. He's still attacking f5, and he's got the double rooks, which just haven't gone away. But this does give me time. The knight's gone for one move, which now I like playing this move, because I'm like, well, he can't go in straight away. And the point of knight g8 is not to defend this one or anything silly like that. It's literally to control f6, so that if I ever play what I want my plan, he can't just drop the queen in and have a maiden attack. So the knight comes back into the game. I play g6, so I'm getting my defensive setup that I want. He goes for another attacking plan. Good. I mentioned this one earlier. And I've finally got my king into a good square. The point being, the knight's done its job. It's defending this square. Chat, Dion. Have fun. Call me later. King g7. Queen d3. There's a big threat of knight h5, which I've already seen before I started this setup. I was like, well, if you do this setup and he can just drop his knight in and you're dead, then what's the point? And finally, the knight gets back into f6. And the position's completely transformed from about 5 moves ago. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable now. My king feels good. I know, okay, this is fairly scary and it's a bit blunt, you know, but he has to start playing stuff like, you know, f5, f4, f5 and go for it. And that may or may not create chances for me. You know, he's finally opening his king. His knight's not that stable on g3. But anyway, that's another game and didn't happen. He still plays good moves. Best move on the board. He plays rook e5. It's a little cheeky. Have to be a little bit careful here, because a lot of times he's threatening to take this one, and then if I ever have to take back with a pawn, I'm getting mated because the queen's coming in, and you know we don't want that. And what I do want is to get rid of these two extremely strong rooks. So I actually quite like this move that I came up with. Queen c8 with the idea of just dropping the bishop back and swapping everything off. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in the meantime? And he finally blunders, proper blunder, and not like a one that makes me win, but just this is the problem with Petrovs and you having the same pawn structures, is if you do make a slip, I mean, White's played perfectly up until now. He's actually 1-3 here, and it is with the plan that I mentioned earlier. Just get on with this sort of attack. It's quite hard for me to react to. It's also saying that perhaps I don't have any moves. It's the computer suggesting A3, which is a bit scary. But it just, again, I'm not showing this game because of my amazing defense. I'm showing this game because how easy white can build up an attack, and I haven't really made any massive blunders. Just slight inaccuracies, and just shows you that, you know, white can get really good play. But each one of my slight inaccuracies at least had an idea, and I'm happy with that. But here comes the blunder. Plays knight e7. And I just couldn't believe it. And I was just like, well, I snapped this move onto the board instantly. I mean, that's the whole point of me looking at this f5 maneuver. I don't know, it's because my queen was on c8 and he just forgot that I suddenly have control of it. But now it's just completely dead level. So I was, at the end of this combination, I offered a draw, which I wasn't better in any way, shape or form, but he's just got no more play. Everything's pretty much coming off. You don't take the rook because that gives him a good e-pawn. This forces him to take, which means that at the moment this knight's pinned, so he defends the rook, and I play just rook e7, nice and simple. When he brings his knight out, just queen e8, and that's it. It's 0-0-0. The rook's coming off. Queen versus knight. Pawns are completely level. We're both a little bit close to time control now. This has moved 30, and we've both had about 5-6 minutes each. It's not worth the gamble. In a level position, it seems. Otherwise, he would have kept going. So the draw was agreed. So that was great. That was game 1. And I'm going to quickly go on to game 2 because it's even shorter. I was white this time, which is fair. And my opponent was Mark Abbott, and he's a 177. And he'd just driven up from Devon, so he was a bit tired. This was his first game. But I just had a fairly tough game. Not a big gap between that lunch and in this game. So we're both tied. So I'm not going to read too much into that. So e4. I actually decided before the tournament I was going to play d4, but I thought, no, if he is tired, then potentially playing a little bit sharper in this one was the way forward. So I tried for an open Sicilian, and he says okay, but he plays g6, which is accelerated dragon. And I'm not going to, again, I've only got about 15 minutes, so I've got to hurry up. So I'm going to whiz through the opening a tiny bit and just point out little points, because anyone who's played the Sicilian knows this kind of stuff that's happening right now. So knight c6, c4. Right, you've got lots of choices here. Now, again, another day, and if it's just one game I'm looking at, then fair enough. But this is the Merkrasi bind. You're basically just trying to stop d5 as a break, and if possible, even b5 as a break, because you've got a lot of pressure all over the shop to stop this. Ooh. One more arrow. I've actually got 2 more arrows to come, and the knight comes in as well. So you're basically just trying to stop black from having any play whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, I actually will play the black side of this, because if you play it properly, it's actually pretty dangerous, especially against lines that aren't c4. So he plays knight f6, attacking the pawn, defend the pawn, d6. Gotta get some pieces out, eh? Bishop e2. I'm just looking at this square here because I want to play my bishop to e3. Don't want his knight coming in and upsetting that bishop on e3. He takes, which is unusual, but it's a book line. Someone else has played this against me and got a draw. And he was only graded 99, so I'm just saying. I'm scared of the lower rated, way more than I am the higher rated. Queen takes, bishop lines up nicely. Of course, he can't do anything other than knight here. He doesn't want his knight there because maybe it's a target for the bishop at some point. So you don't have to worry just yet about moving your queen. Don't panic, get your bishop out. Again, if he drops in trying to hassle, I can just move. Ooh, steady. Oh, what am I talking about? This one I can just take the bishop. Not yet. But that knight's coming. Bishop e3, castles, now you have to worry about it, because now he's defending the bishop. So now I've dropped the queen back. Again, like I say, if he wants to drop the knight in now, I can just move the bishop here. It's absolutely fine. Keep the bishop. His knight might become a target. He may be helping me push pawns, who knows. In this opening, you kind of want to push f3, which is what I'm going to do later. So again, still not worried about that particular move. And my queen and bishop are lined up how they want to be. So, you know, it's a little bit of a tricky line where you might make a mistake and then end up not defending this one. You've got to defend that one too. There's always bishop takes c3 after queen a5. You've got to watch all this stuff. Everything's pinned. Perhaps he's going to take this pawn. That's why it's a fun opening for black. Plays a6. Fine. f3. This is aimed against the pin that may or may not happen here. You've got to watch this pawn. It can drop in a lot of lines. f3 is... I mean, it's not really to play g4 and h4, but, you know, if you're really gung-ho, you probably can. Bishop e6. Again, not the move I would play. See, when I play this as black, the idea of swapping that knight early is to get your bishop here. I believe it's much stronger here because it helps you on b5 as well as d5. But he goes straight for the c pawn, which is okay, but it's just not as good, in my opinion. So I defend here. The defence is, when he brings his rook over, I've always got knight somewhere. I don't know where yet. I haven't decided. And you know what? In a lot of lines, maybe I'm looking at trying to get a knight into here. I mean, if you go this way, it's just going to get swapped off, but it's the same idea. But rook c1 is a multi-purpose move. Gives you options. Rook c8. And here I just defend the pawn for now. I'm not too fussed about this bishop. This knight is fully defended. That's the point of rook c1, so I didn't have to make any decisions. At the moment, I'm clamping him. The whole idea is that black needs to get one or two of these breaks in. And he plays b5 anyway. I was like, what? I mean, I don't know everything about this opening, but I'm like, yeah, you probably want to open this. He's a 177 ECF, so I was a little bit like, is this some gambit line I haven't seen before? And after much backwards and forwards in my mind, I'm like, I'm taking it. Because the point being, if I don't win a pawn and you make me, then I've got another idea in the bag. Otherwise, you've just given me a pawn for nothing. And it just shows you, you know, you just don't, your opponent, no matter what his grade, still can make silly moves. So c takes b, and then while he's played queen a5, now I know that it's just a blunder of a pawn, because this has no threat whatsoever. And in fact, after castling, okay, he's sort of attacking this if ever I have to take back after a rook exchange or something. Trying to think if he had anything else I was concerned about. Oh yeah, have 3 pieces attacking the knight after this knight moves, perhaps knight d7 or something, and then have 3 pieces attacking or something. I don't know. And maybe he felt that I was wasting a move taking here first. I really couldn't tell you. But the point being, if I just castle, there's no pins or anything on the rook. they're doubled up. I want to put my rook here anyway. It's just part of the opening. So castle's just a normal move. I didn't have to do too much here. Just normal moves seem to do the job. Let's get a little bit tactical. Then he I gotta say, this was a big surprise. You don't expect moves like that. And again, I was like, am I playing Miguel Tao? Am I just getting like wiped off the board here? And I could still go slightly wrong here. I think taking the rook it may be a blunder. I'm not convinced. I'm never going to do it. But I think he thought that I would. And you know, this is actually quite a messy position, and black's definitely got chances. In fact, this might actually win material, because where does the queen go? There's a lot happening here. But I'm like, well, I don't have to take with the rook. Or even offer my queen. I mean, like, can we swap off queens, please? I'd be delighted if we can swap queens. And you know what? He did. And I was like, okay. So I see your combination, but it's not very good. And then you take here. And then, of course, I have to decide whether I'm going to take your knight and you get a rook. So just an exchange and a pawn. Or maybe this pawn too, actually. That's scary. Just taking this one afterwards. I mean, that would have done me good enough. This is what I was thinking in the game. Or even just pushing it. I mean, it's a fast pawn. But I don't even have to give the exchange. I can just move the rook here. I just attack another pawn. So now I'm attacking this pawn, and the knight. I mean, that's got to be good for white, right? And that's why I'm whizzing through this one. Because sometimes you just get gifts in chess. I'm not saying that he didn't have tricks. Because he did. He had a few tricks. He fought a little bit hard, but sometimes you get to just show games where, you know, even good players just short circuit. He did not take. He actually took this one back, which computer says best move as well. Not giving me any pass pawns, but, you know, it's a clear exchange and a pawn down. Doodly-doodly-doo. Rook c7. Natural move. Get out of the way of that bishop. Attack a pawn. Still attacking a pawn. Rook a8. And the reason I'm showing this game, and very quickly, because obviously, you know, it is a win technically, is that I gave him 0 chances to wriggle out of this. And there was little things like, he's attacking this pawn. Okay, again, it gets complicated. If I take this one, then potentially after he takes the A pawn, he's attacking this one. And maybe it becomes a bit awkward. You know, 2 bishops, you can't panic about it all the time, because I've got 2 bishops too, but potentially his are better than mine. Because this one's trapped behind a pawn. And this one, okay, he's doing a good job. So this one's okay, but this one isn't. So maybe it'd have little bits and bobs of counterplay, but I don't have to give him anything. So I just went, okay, let's swap rooks. Swapping rooks is good. Because then I've just got a clearly, you know, basically if you've ever got an exchange up, you want to try and get rid of your opponent's last rook. So if nothing else, just to let you guys know that little cheap move. So he's gone to rook c8, which is fine. I've defended this pawn, so he's no longer attacked, which is good. Now I can take this one with no repercussions. So yeah, that's another pawn in the bag. Thank you very much. And also, his back rank is really weak. So if he tries something like rook c2, I just go check. And that's it. Game over. What does he block with? Doesn't really matter. If he blocks with the dark square bishop, I've just got bishop dropping in here. Game over. And if he just brings his rook back, I could just take it. And after bishop takes, I mean anything, just a4, and it's going to go. There's nothing you can do to stop this. The rooks are off. This rook is a beast when it gets moving. So a little clever little tactic there to stop him, not caring about him taking over the c file yet. So he plays against that. Okay, fair enough. Lost where I am. Rook c8, bishop takes b5, h5, rook c1. And here, little bit of I had to think about this one before I played it. This is the move I'm trying to play because I just want to take over. And the only thing you've got to be aware of is if he takes and takes, he would have knight takes. Thinking, oh yeah, I've got to take that back, and then from nowhere, bishop check. And suddenly you've dropped your rook. But of course, I've seen this, and that's why I played rook c1, because I can just before I take the knight back, I've still got this little check. And now I can take the knight for nothing. So that's why I played rook c1. Nice little, nice tiny calculation. You've got to work these things out. So rook c1. Oh, no, he didn't take. That was the whole point. So he attacked the bishop. I brought the bishop to a better square. I'm also now trying to swap rooks this way. I'm also defending his only break, which is d5. So he moves the king off the back rank, so I can't swap rooks. And now I take e7. So I'm like, well, you know, after all these little things, I'm just going to keep munching material. So he tries d5. Why not? And I play an okay move here, I think. What do I play? Bishop b7. Why did I play bishop b7? Doesn't seem right. I think I played bishop b7. Okay. I don't remember this. No, I didn't play bishop b7. I definitely didn't play bishop b7. Rook b7, idiot. I want to swap off the rooks. He goes after the a pawn again, walking into another tactic. I can just take on f7. Happy days. If you take here, I just need to move the rook and attack the bishop, which is pretty much what happens. Otherwise, I take the rook if he takes my rook. And just rook here. And this is Splatville. I mean, it was for a little while. I mean, the game he did gift me. But the idea was... the idea of showing this was just literally, you know, sometimes you just got to really concentrate. Just give your opponent 0 chances to come back. And it's nice to show me winning a game. I think I've shown more losses than wins, which is hopefully going to turn around this year. And here, after bishop back, I just trap the knight. There's no square for that knight. So that's game over. It's GG. There's other moves that won. I think I could even play bishop d4 there, but I just wanted to get through that game just to show you that not every game is hard, and even if your opponent's really high rated, they still blunder horribly. I've done it. I'm not even high rated yet, but I hope to be one day, and you'll look back on my blunders and go, ha, because I certainly do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I've got to go. I've got to play that match I was talking about. I'll do another video next weekend because I've got the 4 NCL where I said I'm playing on top board. Bit of pressure. So if any of the teams want to look me up beforehand, if you watch this video, I'm top ball for the Celtic Tigers second team. Come on, you can look up all my stuff. Right. Anyway, have a good weekend and speak to you guys soon. Oh, one last thing. One of you came over to say hello. I was delighted. So this is to Gary. Thanks for coming over and saying hello. It actually means, I gotta say, that was really touching that you came over and said you liked my video. So thank you for that. And any others that turn up, please, just drop by and I'll say hello. I don't bite. Anyway, everybody have a good weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.